Deep within a shadowed forest stood an abandoned house where two thrill-seekers decided to spend the night to test their courage. The silence broke when a heavy wooden door swung open on its own hinges, prompting one of them to retreat toward the campsite.
Oh my God. Assalamualaikum. Astagfirullahaladzim. Mas, pintunya kebuka ya Allah. Allahu Akbar. Sumpah lemes banget pintunya, Mas. Astagfirullahaladzim. Mas.
Mbak, dahar, monggo, dahar enggak? Dia minta beneran, kita enggak kebagian dong. Apa tuh?
Asim.
Later that evening, as quiet settled over their pitch-black tent, strange noises began to echo just feet away from where they lay. A sudden glance past the entrance flap exposed an unearthly figure standing motionless in the dark, sending a wave of utter terror through the camp. A ghost hunter named Job Stewart navigated a murky river in Clementon to investigate legends of a notorious water spirit. Using raw chicken as bait, he and his companion waited in the stillness of the water until the lure was forcefully dragged beneath the surface. A pale face with unnaturally long talons broke the water's edge, causing the crew to immediately abandon the effort.
Kelihatan nggak tadi? Iya kelihatan cuy. Jangan-jangan yang pertama tadi? Ya, tabak. Apa? Cepet siapa nih?
As they scrambled to start the boat and escape, an unseen force violently pulled one of the men into the dark water, sparking a desperate struggle to drag him back to safety. A live streamer and his companion ventured into a sacred cemetery late at night to investigate persistent local tales. Strange whisperings echoed among the headstones, and a shrouded figure was spotted peering from behind a massive tree trunk.
Artinya,
ini gua doang atau kalian dengar? Allah, astagfirullah.
Though terrified, they continued their walk until the oppressive atmosphere became too intense to bear. As they attempted to head back toward the exit, a terrifying spectral presence suddenly blocked their escape route, trapping them in the dark graveyard.
Astagfirullahaladzim. 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 Itu John. Astagfirullahaladzim. Allah.
Deep inside an isolated forest stood a long-abandoned structure, drawing a curious traveler from Haiti adventure to test his nerves within its rotting walls. Unbeknownst to the explorer as he addressed his camera, an unearthly figure materialized silently right behind his back.
Mengambil langkah yang kok tiba-tiba merinding ya. Dengar ya, ada suara motor. Suara apa ya?
looking to capture whatever haunted the location, he positioned a monitor to record the outer perimeter. The surveillance lens captured the chilling image of an elderly spectral entity quietly slipping through the entryway. Seeking to uncover the truth behind a notoriously haunted property, a brave investigator from Maladventure set up a tent inside the empty structure. Extinguishing all artificial lights, he relied solely on a flickering candle to draw out any lingering entities. A shrouded figure suddenly manifested directly behind him, vanishing the moment he turned around. Moments later, the security camera he had positioned nearby captured the pale entity reappearing in the corner of the room.
Demi tua ini, katanya seperti. Wah, kita pitek guys. Astagfirullahaladzim, astagfirullahaladzim. Wah, sendiri. Pitek ya, astagfirullah. Ya Allah.
Navigating a narrow dirt trail in the middle of a dense forest, the riders from Movlog Horror TJ found themselves completely disoriented at a dark fork in the road. While searching for the correct path, a pale, shrouded figure suddenly materialized in the middle of the trail directly ahead.
Kanan ya? Pernah? Apa?
Attempting to move forward only caused the entity to loom closer, blocking their sole exit route. Overcome by intense fear, the group abandoned their original path and fled in the opposite direction.
Permisi. Udah, gak berani.
Jangan kayak gitu kan, itu kayunya lemparin.
Ya udah.
The solitude of an infamous haunted forest seemed manageable at first, but the tranquility dissolved the moment the tent was pitched for camping horror. Howling winds battered the fabric as unsettling cries echoed from the surrounding tree line. Fear gripped the camper, prompting him to monitor the perimeter through an exterior surveillance camera.
Suaranya bentar. Nggak tahu itu suara. Serem banget.
The feed captured a disturbing entity lingering right outside the tent walls, its unsettling presence confirming that he was not alone in the woods. Trapped inside an isolated hut surrounded by eerie apparitions, the courageous team from Chop's World ventured outside into the darkness to investigate the source of their terror. A towering crimson entity blocked their forward path, while an equally terrifying white figure appeared directly behind them. The overwhelming energetic pressure began to take a heavy toll on one of the investigators. Before they could safely retreat to their vehicle, the victim collapsed to the ground as the dark forces closed in around them.
Dan, belakang ku apa ini, Dan?
Mundur.
Kabur dia, Dan.
Ayo kita mundur.
Mundur kah?
Mundur.
Serius, Dan. Aduh.
The suffocating stench of decay filled the night air as a traveler decided to camp deep inside an isolated woodland. Through the pitch-black darkness, a pair of glowing eyes suddenly materialized before vanishing into thin air. Refusing to abandon his journey, he pushed forward deeper into the thick brush. His determination turned to pure terror when the entity materialized again directly in his path, aggressively confronting him before he could turn back.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Apa kah? Astaga.
Heavy rain battered a dilapidated hut in the middle of a palm oil plantation, where an isolated traveler sought refuge for the night. While resting inside, an alarming spectral encounter forced him out of the structure and back into the stormy darkness. The distant sound of weeping guided him through the wet trees until he confronted a terrifying apparition hovering near the brush.
Astagfirullah. La ilaha illallah.
Standing his ground, he recited sacred verses aloud, causing the lingering entity to vanish into the night air.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Pitching a tent in a notoriously haunted woodland seemed like a simple challenge, until terrifying scratching sounds against the fabric jolted the camper awake on camping horror. Unnerved by the sudden disturbance, he checked the live video feed connected to the external surveillance cameras. The monitor revealed a towering shadowy entity scaling a nearby tree trunk, its eyes glowing faintly in the pitch darkness. Realizing an otherworldly presence was watching from above, he froze inside his shelter as the creature slowly shifted among the branches.
Teman-teman. Kelihatan buas. Malah nerekam.
Darkness swallowed the abandoned trail as the lone explorer from Sapam Explore pressed deeper into the wilderness, unaware that something sinister was watching his every step. The chilling laughter of a floating white apparition echoed overhead, driving him into a blind panic as he scrambled to find an exit. Every direction seemed to loop back onto itself until the air grew impossibly cold. A sudden upward glance revealed the spectral figure hovering directly above him, its hollow gaze locked onto his terrified face as he fled through the dense foliage.
Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Pushing deeper into the foreboding woods, the investigator from Sapam Explore found himself targeted by a crimson spectral entity. Terrified by the sight, he turned and sprinted blindly through the tangled branches in a desperate bid to escape. Every path seemed to lead in circles as the night grew darker. Just as he thought he had reached a safe clearing, The red figure materialized directly in front of him, blocking his path out of the forest once again.
Allahu Akbar.
A harrowing midnight search was meant to locate a missing partner, but the solitary investigator found himself cornered by a phantom lurking high above the dark tree canopy. Chilling whispers echoed from the dark foliage, driving a wave of terror through the woods as he attempted to make contact over his device. Though his partner drew close, the ethereal sound multiplied, confirming that something monstrous was shadowing their every move. As the unseen presence drew nearer, the investigator was forced to flee the area in utter panic.
Apa tadi tuh? Hah? Kamu lihat kita di sini? Nggak lihat kah? Tuh, makin keras Hah? Enggak. Aku lihat di kamera tadi kayaknya ada di sini loh. Rambut panjang. Itu yang tadi loh kayaknya. Sampai dia ngikutin terus gitu. Iya, itu sudah dari atas. Kok makin jelas loh. Astagfirullah. Tahan.
A strong stench of rotting vegetation filled the dense forest as an investigator returned alone to explore an infamous region. Rustling sounds from the high branches above prompted him to shine his light upward into the thick canopy. The unsettling, pale figure was revealed perching high in the foliage, watching his every move from the shadows. Repeating defensive prayers, he kept his light focused on the floating entity until the overwhelming dread forced him to turn and flee.
Allahu Akbar. Kelihatan nggak sana itu? Allahu Akbar. Ainas bin syarri waswasil khannas. Annasi waswisu fi sudurin nas. Minal jinnati wan nas. La ilaha illallah. Sana itu. Allah Akbar yang tadi.